Give you all a couple minutes to get on in. Let me put a little countdown on. And we're just going to do some Q&A today. That's what I'd like. I'd like to just spend some time with you guys, hear what questions you have, and share whatever perspective I can offer. We'll be chatting a bit about branding, about lead generation, and about sales, unless maybe anything else in between. So I'll do my best to answer the questions. No question is off the table. If I feel like I can't effectively answer it, maybe in this format, or just in general, like maybe I just don't know. Maybe I think there's someone else who can answer your question better. I'll also let you know that. And so just do me a solid and come say hi while this little timer is going. Hey, Lexi, thank you for being here in the live stream. What is good? Hello from San Diego. If you could do me a solid and type a replay if you're catching the replay. But right now, if you're watching live, just let me know where you're watching from. If you want to let me know your name, that's great, so I can see in the comment as well. That'd be incredible. It's always nice to catch a few names here like Jesse. What's up? Hey. And hey, listen, while you're currently here, be thinking about some questions that you'd like to ask. The only way that Q&A works is if there's actual cues. All right. I don't just want to sit here and kind of riff on different answers to non-existing questions. So for anyone who is here, be thinking about any questions that you may have to ask. Hey, Lena, good to have you here from New Hampshire, Radical. Hey, Abby. Just be thinking about any questions that you'd like to ask, and we can get into it. My expertise is in the wedding and portrait space, and so you're welcome to be asking other questions outside of those two niches. I'll just make sure that I acknowledge it in my answer. I actually do believe that some of the best insight comes from outside of the niches that you're in. And so I'm still here for if you've got questions. I'd love to kind of riff for a little bit. I'll just make sure to acknowledge whether or not I have any experience in that space. So, hey, welcome to the show, you guys. Let's jump right in. For starters, my name's Ben Hartley, and I'm in this community, the Mastermind Group, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. EST, making live videos, just coaching for creatives, essentially. And so, apart from the live video content that exists, I also do workshops here in this group. The next workshop is going to be on Thursday the 4th. So it's Tuesday right now. So this is in 2 days. I'm going to be hosting a workshop on how to increase your print sales, how to actually sell printed product without being salesy. This print workshop is really going to be effective for portrait photographers, families, newborns, babies, sure, some seniors. Seniors does have some nuances to it. And then weddings, certainly weddings as well. We've been a print-focused studio here in Ohio for the last 7 years. We've really emphasized printed artwork. And so we average around $3,000 profit per client with printed artwork. Now that's the average. Sometimes we'll have a client that'll be far higher than that. Sometimes we'll have a client that'll be far lower than that. You want to be looking at averages across the board. We really specialize in wall art and then in albums. And so really looking forward to that workshop, okay? And if you're curious, that workshop is going to be here live in the group. If you're a part of this community, then you will get access to that workshop. There's no special place. There's no special webinar that you need to go to. It'll be a live video just like this on Thursday at 3 o'clock EST. Okay, so thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. The group's growing and I freaking love it. Other than that, I think that's really the biggest thing to be noted for today's episode. And so let's jump in. Let's talk a bit about brand, about lead gen, and about sales. I want to open the floor for you guys right now for some Q&A. And so I'm going to head into the comments right now. Hey, John, what's up from Hawaii? John, I sent you a Marco Polo. Hopefully you got that. John, actually, my daughter B was selling Girl Scout cookies earlier in the year, and I offered it up as an opportunity for B. She made a video and she posted it here into the group, and whoever purchased the most Girl Scout cookies would win some custom artwork for my daughter, and John actually won. And so John, I just shipped out that custom artwork to Hawaii. So it'll be arriving, man. I got the UPS is how I did it. I got that tracking information for you, so it's on its way. Anyhow, I digress. Hey, Lauren from Northeast Ohio. Okay, awesome. I'm going back through right now, and I'm looking for comments, or rather for questions. And so now is your opportunity, you guys, to ask pretty much any question. Normally, I reserve Q&A for Clubhouse, but I figured, hey, let's do a little Q&A here in the room right now. Okay, here's the first question. Can you comment about brand positioning? You promised to do a live on the subject. Hold me to the fire. Okay, so fair enough. So brand positioning is, I think it's one of the most powerful things to gain control over, to gain awareness and control over for your business, because you're always being positioned. Let me kind of pull back a little bit here. Brand positioning is like another level deep for branding. Like, what's the difference between branding and then brand positioning? Brand positioning is like, it's just another notch down. It's like it was a more focused approach to branding. There's a lot of crossover between just like branding and brand positioning. And so, with branding is like whatever comes to mind in your leads or your clients' mind, really, when they think about your brand, when they encounter it, when they see it, when they hear it, when they see an Instagram post of it, it's like whatever comes to mind, right? Like that's your brand. And so it's often tied to the words that you say and the aesthetics and the colors and the logos and the fonts and how it makes you feel and all that kind of stuff, right? So this would be branding. Brand positioning is you being aware of that one level down and saying, I understand that, and now I'm going to very intentionally position myself against everybody else in a meaningful way. Brand positioning is all about how you are viewed relative to the competition, relative to what else is available. If you don't, for some reason, photographers don't like saying the word competition. I get it, community over fucking competition. I get it. However, the reality is there still is competing businesses out there, right? So we still have to use that word in some way. So relative to the other options, that's what brand positioning is. It's like, how am I viewed relative to everything else that is available out there? And you're being positioned whether or not you like it. Like you're being grouped and being made relative to everybody else, whether or not you're in control of it. Maybe the way that your brand is being positioned is, yeah, he's just a photographer like everybody else is. Oh yeah, that's just another wedding photographer in the city. That's you're being positioned in some way, right? And so if you can really own it and then position yourself in a way that is separated from everybody else, there's huge value in that. There's huge upside. There's a really great book called... I just left. It's just gone. It's out of here. Blue Ocean. There it is. The Blue Ocean Strategy. And the Blue Ocean Strategy, I love what I said in that book. The goal with branding and really brand positioning is to make the competition irrelevant. And so the goal here is not to compete with everybody else. That's just more branding. That's just like, I'm just going to try to compete with everybody else. I'm going to kind of take what they're doing and I'm going to do maybe more of it or better of it. With positioning, it's actually to make the competition completely irrelevant by positioning myself as having such an extreme leap in value that no one even it's not even in the same industry almost. Like they're not even in the same space as me. This is where we get into brand positioning. Okay. Branding is just more of it's just more, it's better. Positioning is where you really own and position yourself as something completely different, uncontested. No one else can compete anymore. Okay. It's a subtlety, but it's a really powerful one. And it's how you get out of the middle market. You get out of the middle market through positioning. Well, that's one of the ways that you get out of the middle market. When I say out of the middle market, I just mean like for wedding photographers, the $3,500 price point, the $4,000 price point. Like here, Ben Adams and I, right now we average $9,600 a client before print. And one of the ways that we do that is through our positioning. Okay. Okay, cool. That was my long-winded rant about it because it's challenging too. So sometimes I have to kind of I have to keep roping around. Okay, let me see what we have. Lena says this: any specific ways to make the client experience exceptional when you have a short time frame? For example, 1 month from when they book to the wedding date. Yeah, Lena, I think the way that we tend to think about client experience is in the externals. So every problem, every client of ours has 3 degrees of problems that need solved. They've got the external problems. They've got the external problems would be things like we'll talk about this from a client experience standpoint. Things like I want efficient responses to like timeliness. When I ask a question, I'd like you to be timely in your replies. That'd be one way to increase that client experience, that problem that they have, right? So you could reply quickly, you could reply in great detail, you could even get ahead of it and you could send them information, value-based emails, that kind of stuff, right? They're probably going to want someone who's going to help them plan or think through the day, who's going to be a resource for them. So these are like the external factors for client experience. Some other external factors is just like building reciprocation and like gift giving, right? It's like maybe during the 2 weeks before their wedding, you send them a little like thinking of you gift basket or some bullshit like that. And I say bullshit like that a little bit facetiously because it's obviously not bullshit. We love these things. We love gifts. I love receiving gifts. It's great and it is meaningful. One of the most powerful ways, though, to move a client experience beyond the expected is to go the level deeper beyond the external problem of the client experience and more of the internal. It's like, how could I actually maybe solve the internal problem here? What would it look like for me to connect with this client in a way and make an impact in their life from like an internal standpoint? And maybe one of these internal ways could be like I'm not going to. What I'm going to suggest right now, these aren't recommendations or prescriptions. I'm just going to riff on possibilities. It would really depend like what niche you're in. Maybe you're in boudoir or you're in weddings or you're in, equine, photography. So I'll just give some different riffs. Maybe one of the ways that you create a really meaningful client experience is by helping that person become more compassionate towards their own self, their own body. Maybe with a boudoir client, you'd create a space for them to be more self-compassionate, give themselves more grace. And that's like an internal thing, right? But if you could create that space for someone, think of the experience that could bring into their life. Maybe another way is maybe you could help someone become more aware of the compassion that they have for the people who are going to be in those photographs. Maybe like a family photographer, more compassionate towards their little annoying children. Or that asshole husband of theirs, right? It'd be interesting. I wonder what kind of experience that could create for someone if you were to open up that type of a perspective. And so a lot of that is a more challenging thing, right? It's easier to just send someone a box of cupcakes, isn't it? Because that doesn't require me to risk. The things that I'm sharing right now to actually hold space for someone in an internal space to make a difference for them in that way, that also requires me as the photographer to actually maybe get a little uncomfortable. It requires me to also put myself on the line to ask intentional questions. Oh, God forbid, that would require me to give a fuck. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. I don't know if I'm ready to quite like give my clients that. And that's, no bad about that. For some people, that's not what they're up to. They would just rather kind of keep things separate and send the box, and that's fine too. All right. I see huge opportunity though to make a meaningful difference in people's lives when you actually give a shit. And so there you go. Those are some thoughts that I have on that. Okay. I've heard you talk a lot about $3,900 packages as mentally the same as $4,200 packages. Okay. For starters, let's address that real quick. This is a tactic that sometimes works. This is charm pricing, and it's not a hard and fast thing. So let me see if I can keep these. I'm going to change my preferences real quick. 1 second, guys. So that way these comments don't go away, because they keep going away, and it's kind of killing the mojo in case you're joining right now. Okay, here we go. So this is just to be clear, that's a tactic. It's charm pricing. Some people they'll deceive themselves by saying something like, it's $3,500. It's under it's about $3,000. It's $3,500. When it's $3,900, they don't have to admit to themselves that it's in the 4,000 range, 4,200, whatever, right? And so, but just to be clear, this isn't just like, this works every time. Okay. Now, my question is a $175 sitting fee the same as a $225 sitting fee? No. My sitting fee includes time and talent, no prints or digitals. No, $175 sitting fee is far less in the brain based off of charm pricing. $174 would even be better. $174 would be a fantastic price than $225. We don't like odd numbers for starters. So ending in 5s, people don't like odd numbers. It creates resistance in their brain. So 4s are better. With that instead of 5s. But is $175 sitting fee the same as $225? No. It's because $175, you don't even have to admit the 200 part. You don't have to admit it to yourself or like your fiance, your husband, your partner, whatever. You could just be like, it's like $150, right? Once you go up to 225, now you're going to say, it's a couple $100. Okay, it's in the 200 range. So you're really right on the precipice. So if you wanted to keep it under 200, you could do 194. 194 would pretty much be the same as 175 in someone's mind, right? Like in their brain, they could justify it. Yeah, it's under $200. It's $194. 194 is pretty much the same as 175. So you're currently leaving like $19 on the table, if I did my math right, by pricing it at 175. I would actually also suggest that instead of 225, you could move that up. You could probably do anything like 250, 249. You could do that. And so again, you'd be leaving $20 on the table. That's just me riffing. Again, charm pricing, guys. It's good to be aware of. It's a nice little tactic, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, here's another great question. Actually, I don't know if it's a great question. I didn't read it ahead of time. I just put it on screen. Any tips on how to brand yourself when you want to attract luxury clients who are still lighthearted and fun? I feel like it's hard to focus on high end while also showing the fun and playful moments. Yeah, it's a good question. I try to focus less on luxury and more on value. Here's the difference. Luxury, I hear the judgment that you have. The judgment that I'm making up that you're suggesting here is that when someone's got so much money that they can just like buy whatever, it's almost like there's less playfulness, there's less fun. And again, these are judgments, just to be clear. It's like there's more of a status being signaled here, and it's more just about like looking good, feeling good, being right, that type of a class. Okay, again, I'm judging it. So I tend to focus less on like the luxury space and more of the value space. The value space is, these are buyers who value quality over quantity, and it's different. This is a different thing. They value investing in something that it might cost a little bit more, but they know that once they have it, they're going to have it for a lifetime. They're going to be able to get great use out of it. It's not just about like status. It's not just about looking good, feeling good, being right. It's also about the actual like quality and the longevity of the product. And there's crossover there, obviously. You know what I mean? There's a lot of gray in that space. For example, a value person, here's the difference. A luxury-based person might buy their dog a Louis Vuitton collar. Okay, maybe like I don't even know if that's a thing. I bet it is. Or like a Gucci collar, and so it'd be that. A value-based person, they may really value their dog and value playing with them, and so they may invest in the monthly reoccurring fee of BarkBox or something similar that's going to be an expense in their life, but it's going to be something that they really value their dog, they value the interaction, they value the play, and it's worth paying that money time and time again for. Here's maybe another example. Maybe like in the fitness space, maybe instead of just trying to target someone who goes to the gym, that's someone who they like to work out. Maybe the luxury version of that is they have a personal trainer and dietitian come to their home. But maybe someone who's in that value-based pricing, maybe there's someone who maybe they've got a Peloton, right? That also has there's a monthly thing they're willing to pay continually for the value that they receive. And so, yeah, they don't have a private nutritionist. They don't have a private trainer like someone who's in that luxury space, but they have a value for what it is that they're up to. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Hey, Sarah. Okay, let's keep moving here. Okay. Hiya. I've been doing portraits and street photography. Not sure about how and where to start selling prints online. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wave the white flag here, and I'm going to suggest that I don't think I'm going to be the best person for you to help answer this question with selling prints with street photography. I could just riff on a couple things. Number one is make sure that you've got model releases, that it's legal to actually sell the identity of other people who haven't necessarily agreed to having their picture being sold. I don't know what you may want to just take a look and make sure that that is something that you've got yourself covered on. And then from there, this is really getting into building, honestly, the route that I see for this is you building up a personal brand. And this is actually what I've done even within this education spaces. I've built up a personal brand. I've allowed people into my process. I've documented the process. I've shared the process. And so that's what you would do. I mean, you've got two routes here. Really, maybe there's probably three routes for monetizing this. Number one is galleries. So building relationships with galleries. This is getting up from behind your computer and building meaningful partnerships. The second way would be stock photography. That's going to be probably the least impactful is my guess. I'm not positive. And the third way is by building up a personal brand that you've created a following. You've brought people in on the experience, the process. Maybe you publish these pieces in a book. You offer that to your following, and or your prints to your following, and so you monetize it that way. Those are my three ways that I would suggest doing that. Okay. Now I'm not in that space. That's why I would recommend seeing if maybe there's another person who's better suited to answer your question. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, let's see what we have here. Jesse says this: what tips do you have for making the biggest impact at a bridal show that I was invited to, specifically a bridal show that's being put on by a venue? The biggest tips that I would have, man, there's so many tips. I'll give you a couple here. The first is don't go into it alone. You're going to want to go into this bridal show with partners in mind, meaning you want to discover who else is going to be at this show, and you're going to want to connect with those vendors and see how you can support them. Most people go into a bridal show thinking, how am I going to get mine? How do I make this worth my while, my time, my energy, my money? And so it's very me focused. Well, when the bridal show's over, who's going to keep sending you leads, right? The bridal show ain't. The people who hosted the thing ain't. Maybe the venue. And so I like to use it as an opportunity to build my partnerships and my community with the other vendors that are there. And so do some research, see who's there, connect with them, see how you can serve them, see who you've maybe documented their work at another wedding event, see if you can make them a couple prints, see if you guys can strategically align your booths so you're across from another and you can send people their way. Ask those people for collateral that you can hand out on their behalf. And so that'd be one thing that I'd recommend doing. The second thing is to never stand behind anything. So when they set up a little stupid table that they want you to stand behind, don't deny the table. And stand out there and just talk to people. And all you got to ask is this: hey, have you found your wedding photographer yet? And if they walk and they say no, or they say, yeah, we're good, you could just say, son of a bitch. Okay. You were really, I really were, okay, you guys were really cute. Darn it. Or you could, and if they say, no, we haven't, you can say, well, okay, cool. Maybe I'm that guy. I don't know. Can I show you some work? Can I show you some of the things that I'm up to? Just talk to people. And all it is that. Have you found your wedding photographer yet? Okay. Don't hide behind things. People won't come to you. All right. I'm glad people like that giggle. I don't know. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I need help with ideas for the client experience to truly give my clients the best possible experience. Gifts, random text to check in. What else can I do? People are basic. Can I encourage you with that? Listen, I get that we're like miracles and we're like infinitely complex. And yet we're also really basic. And so sometimes we underestimate just how meaningful that text is. One way that you can improve it is maybe instead of a text, you just make a little video and just say, hey, I was thinking of you. Just checking in how you're doing with everything and planning and replanning the wedding. That's it. Just wanted to say hi and thinking of you. And you can make a little video. Maybe you just send that. Just when people feel like they're being thought of, when people feel like they're being pursued, cared for, like I think we underestimate just how valuable that is. Now, one thing is, instead of just giving a random gift, you could reverse engineer the person. You could do a little digging. You could do a little research. You know, people share all the time on their Instagram stories the things that, you know, they really enjoy, the things that they fuck with. And so, you know, maybe it's just spending a little bit of time to see like, man, what does this groom actually like? Interesting. He's like really into the bulls. It seems like he's really into like the vintage bulls, like I don't know if vintage is the right word, you know, but like the Chicago Bulls from like '84. I wonder if there's something I could do with that. And so you hop on, you know, eBay and you see if you can find, I don't know what, I'm just riffing right now. But like, again, if you just reverse engineer the individual and maybe get something meaningful for them, that can be really impactful. Okay. All right, Steven. Hey, Steven, thanks for being here. Lead generation, Instagram. How can Insta be utilized to convert people to clients? There's a few things that you could do with Instagram. I like to think about Instagram as either building my relationships with my partners, with my vendors, by using as a billboard for them, right? So I use Instagram as a billboard to celebrate all the other vendors in my area, because those are going to be the people who already have my clients. They're going to be the people who are going to pass on leads. And so you could use Instagram as a billboard for other people, and you could just give and lift everybody else up and see the relational component kind of take place. You could also use Instagram just for prospecting. Prospecting is like the act of like trying to search for and identify your leads, figuring out like where they hang out, where they are, and then to actually engage with them, to actually, you know, to follow them, to like images, to comment, and then even to get into the DMs. And so with prospecting, you want to start by doing the research probably off Instagram, and just to start to consider maybe if you're like, if you were a wedding photographer, where are people getting engaged? You want to think about the lead experience or that lead timeline. And so you're going to want to capture them earlier on in the process where they haven't found a photographer. And so you'd want to then think about that. Well, man, where do people propose at? Maybe they'd propose at like, you could do some research, the most romantic restaurants in my city. Maybe they'd propose in some place like that. Or maybe you could even do some research for like best sunrise locations in your city. And you'd just be on Google right now, just doing some preliminary research, start to identify what some of these places are, and then move over to Instagram and start just searching with geotags, potentially also with the actual accounts of those locations. Maybe that a certain romantic restaurant has an account. They certainly have a geotag, and see who's showing up in those, who's tagging it. Well, are they sharing images of someone down on one knee? Are they sharing images of a ring? And so then you can start to actually engage with that prospect. You could like their pictures. You could follow them. You could comment on something that you feel like you've got something to actually comment on. And then you could offer help. You could offer help in the DMs with maybe some sort of value-based resource that you have in a blog post or an email or something that could actually assist them in the wedding. And from there, it's largely a numbers game. You know, it's just like reaching out to people and commenting and engaging. It's kind of being everywhere, and then things just start falling into place, baby. It just starts to happen. So. Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad that the internal conversation was an interesting one. Okay, so I haven't watched WandaVision, Batman vs. Wanda. Who would win? So I really don't know much about Wanda, so please forgive me on that. Listen, I think Batman took down Superman. I believe that's right. With a little help, I understand. My bet's on Batman. Okay. Everybody, y'all talking about Wanda. Okay, hold on. Yeah, y'all talking about Wanda here. Okay, let's see here. How do you do that? That's smart. I'm not sure what it's in reference to. Okay, let's see here. Late to the live stream. Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Okay, I'm looking for more questions. Listen, I don't mind wrapping up here. If there's any other questions, I'd love to answer them. Looks like here's a question right here. I'm getting a lot of not leads, not.com leads, that is. But my ghost rate is so high after the initial email. Any advice on maximizing not leads to get on the phone? So for starters, we'll put some things into context. The not leads do tend to ghost at a much higher rate because they're actually not interested in you. And that sounds harsh, and I don't mean it to sound harsh. It's not personal. It's not like they're not interested in you. They're not necessarily interested in me either when I was on the not. So that's not an attack. It's just like how the system is built, which allows leads to kind of like mass send out requests for pricing. That's how the platform is built. So, they're trying, they're creating so much opportunity for the leads to just like email the same like request to all the vendors. That's what I mean when I say they're not interested in you. It's just like they're just kind of clicking send on like everybody, like request information on everybody. And so the way that you could actually like get ahead of that, the way that you could make a meaningful reply is really hard. It's really hard because not only do they not allow you to connect with people through phone number requests, but also the communication stays on that platform. So like your emails are just going, they're not even going to their inbox. They're just going into that client back end portal thing. And so you can't even like change the subject line or like drop in a video or that kind of stuff. So ultimately, this is why people don't really live too long on the knot. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a friend of mine who I've done some coaching with. I coached him, Scott. And Scott has had really great experience with the knot. And I think he may be able to be a better assist for you. And so I will tag him. I'm going to go back into this video and I'm going to tag him there because I know I've left the knot. I was really frustrated with the experiences that I was having. And so I left it. I was tired of wasting my money. Scott is someone who's had great experience with his not leads. And I think he could be a better help than I can right now in this video. So I'll tag him for you and hopefully he'll do he'll maybe hop in and help you out a little bit. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Let me see here. What's your favorite printed image size? I am a big stickler for, I really like, 24 by 36. I think that's a nice size, or larger. So 24 by 36 is like, it's just a sweet spot for me, 2 foot by 3 foot. It's like the perfect ratio. It's like, I don't need to do any additional cropping. None of this, like, I really don't like 30 by 40s because then I'm forced to like crop my picture kind of weird. So I don't like doing that. Yeah. So I like 24 by 36. That is my kind of favorite size. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Yep, I get ghosts on the knot all the time. Yeah, the platform is really designed to ghost. All right, let's see what else. What's your favorite printed image size for selling wall art? I ask because you've got a beautiful full room gallery, and that's what I can only dream to achieve. Yeah, so hey, Mikey, thanks for being here. As far as wall art goes, when I answered your question initially, when I said 24 by 36, I was thinking of an individual hero shot, like in my house. With wall art, I really like doing series of pieces, so a collection. And so I've got a few favorite collections. One of them is right here, and it is a 3-piece collection. You can't see it, unfortunately. It's a horizontal image that is a 16 by 20, and then, no. That's not right. It's not a 16 by 20. It's a 19 by 26. I don't know. There's a horizontal image, and then there's 2 16 by 20 verticals on the side. So I like that collection. Our clients really like that a lot. And then I also like this one right back there. So this is a 4-image collection right there. And it has, 2 verticals, 2 horizontals, and it allows you just a great narrative. Is one of the reasons I like it, is because it gives the client versatility. They get to pick 2 portraits, they get to pick 2 horizontals, and then when you're doing lifestyle portraiture or you're doing weddings, you get to showcase a little bit more of like maybe the narrative or the story within that collection of images. I find that hero shots don't work very well for print sales for weddings because the couple is usually attached to a number of photographs, and they're usually more story based. So if you can focus less on these hero shots like the 24 by 36, the 30 by 40, a 40 by 60, and do a collection, I think that's where a big opportunity is for your couples. How can I make the shift from second shooting to booking weddings on my own? You need to be constantly, right now, building your business. So like, you need to be constantly thinking about like, the goal here is for you to have, like, imagine a plate. And right now your plate is empty and you just got a side dish of second shooting jobs on that plate. Does that make sense? Like you're scooping on some mashed taters. You know what I mean? And what you need is you need to get a main dish. And so it's fine to be scooping on mashed potatoes. It's fine to be like allowing for the second shooting to be like keeping you afloat, but you need to be so locked in. You need to be at the sacrifice of all else, everything needs to be focused on creating the main dish, which is your business. Okay. To the detriment of everything else. That means you go and maybe you get a part-time job doing the least amount of work possible. Like go find a job that allows you to work remotely from home and you clock in and you do the bare minimum and you focus 150% of your energy on building your business. So I have a course called Booked Solid, and it's currently closed. It's going to be out here in the next few weeks. And that course, that's really like a blueprint on like how to build out your business, how to actually getting leads in the door. It's like the entire playbook for getting consistent leads in the door, booking more weddings, but also booking more weddings at higher prices. And so you just have to like educate yourself, and that's fine if it's YouTube. It's fine if it's these live videos, but you need to go full tunnel vision on like, it's the only possibility. Right. And so fine, keep the second shooting like jobs. It's great. But like understand that they are a side dish. Understand that they are some old crusty taters. And you got something better going on, okay? So don't start. I just see too many people, they get complacent and they get satisfied thinking like, well, at least I'm shooting these second shooting gigs and it's bringing money. It's fine, it's good. But just always make sure that you're treating it like, you know what? I'm up to something else. I got a filet mignon in my future and I'm gonna go all in on that, okay? So it's great that you're second shooting, you're building portfolio, you're getting experience under your belt. Just make sure that you're working on your own thing. Okay. Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Will I ever come to the UK? Just discovered you and I'm blown away. Do you have workshops or some of those who can travel to you? Yeah, so I host a workshop. I only do two things, by the way. So I just do all the free stuff. I host the podcast and I do free workshops that are on the video side of things. I have an online course called Book Solid. And so in the UK, you can go through that. There are UK photographers that have gone through Book Solid. And so that would be a place to do that. That's one thing that I offer. The second thing is I do have a in-person workshop at my house, and it's called the Abundance Workshop. I do it a couple times a year, and it's completely focused on business. It's like, how do you create a sustainable, profitable business that allows you to build what you actually want to build? Because what you're building is different than what I'm building, right? Like, my guess is you don't want to shoot 90 weddings. You don't want a whole team of people unless you do. Like, maybe you want to shoot 15 weddings at $6,000 a piece. I digress. The Abundance Workshop is really focused in on these value conversations, how to create this opening for people to see the value in what you do, where they want to pay you thousands of dollars more, even though there's people who would charge far less, right? So to answer your question, I just do those workshops at my house, and I have photographers come in from all over. I mean, I've had people come from out of the country to the Abundance Workshop, and so it's not out of the question to hop on a plane, come from the UK, and get over here when the pandemic goes away. I understand it's out of the question now. Now, that being said, there may come a time when I'll take it on tour and I'll start traveling the workshop around. But for right now, this is just a small workshop at my house that I get to really focus in on a few photographers' business and kind of completely change the whole world around. So, no plans yet for UK, but I'd love to still have you come when the time happens, or maybe I will take it on tour. We'll see. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to end there. Listen, make sure that you join the next workshop, the next free workshop, by the way. So real quick, when I say free workshop, the Abundance Workshop is an in-person one at my house. That's not free. The ones that I do in the group, anything that I do in this group is free. The next free online workshop is on Thursday, this Thursday, 3 p.m. EST. It's going to be on how to sell printed products without being salesy. It is going to be full value. There's no sell at the end. I've got nothing to offer you. Just attend it. Get some really great takeaways on how to increase your print sales. So again, it's going to start at 3 p.m. EST here in the community. And so really looking forward to having you guys then. But I'll be live tomorrow for you guys at 3 o'clock as well. So I can't wait to see you tomorrow or on Thursday for the workshop. So thanks for these questions. Thanks for hanging in this space with me. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye, everybody.